The idea of the tour would be to explore Kerala through routes which are lesser known but which are going to take you out of your comfort zone, out of the highways into the beautiful and undiscovered Kerala. We were to ride up to Munnar on day one, a total elevation gain of 1700 meters on the first day itself. Beautiful scenery, but equally challenging terrain.
Just to be fit enough to do the tours, despite doing my running, I also make sure that I do some cycling so that I'm ready to do the tour.
How is the ride feeling like?
It's actually not bad. It's tough, but not killing.
Something unexpected lines?
Yeah. All built-in expectations.
I started pushing myself very early on. So, then maybe half an hour into the ride, I realized, okay, I need to go at a more steady rate.
This particular stretch was so beautiful.
Not this one. You want proper jackfruit?
Give some jackfruit chips. No, we want proper jackfruit also, but this is also kick-ass stuff.
Oh.
I never had this kind. Though I've had so many banana chips.
This is.
Ripe banana like you said, na?
अरे फट गई यार वो लास्ट में it's the heat.
अभी तो बहुत कुछ
Horrible.
बाकी है, but the weather is only going to get better. चलो जी, give me some water, I think.
The technique of putting water on your face and all worked. I used half the water for that only. नहीं तो धूप में नहीं
You
होता.
want one more session?
हाँ लेता हूँ.
Okay.
This is correct.
So climbing part is there, the exertion plus going through all the forest areas and through the plantation. That is very beautiful.
You think about these things like you feel as if these places don't exist in India.
Every landscape was changing, right from coffee estates to tea estates, and it was just beautiful.
It was quite sunny in the morning, but around 3 p.m., just before the long climb to Munnar ended, the weather suddenly changed and it started pouring very hard.
When you're going through those hillocks, when suddenly it rains, suddenly the weather changes, you are riding in the rain, you forget about all that cycling pain that you get in, but then you enjoy the moment. You're basically in the moment.
The beautiful part of the Munnar and riding through it is definitely one great way of exploring a place. Had I been in a car or had I been in some other vehicle or flying through, I would have missed out the whole beauty of it.
Our resort was situated right next to a beautiful waterfall, and you could stand on the balcony or the terrace and oversee the waterfall, hear the sound of the water gushing through. Day 2 was the short ride of 25 kilometers. It was intentionally kept short to give some breather between the two tough days. So we had enough time in the morning to walk down to the waterfall, which we could see from our resort. Today's ride is going to start with a short and steep climb out of the resort, and about maybe 10 kilometers into the ride, we have a chocolate factory stop where we are hoping to be able to sample a few chocolates.
This is our premium dark chocolate, 80% dark.
The favorite part of the ride for me in this trip has been the climbs, because this is something I don't get to do in Hyderabad.
The second day when there were very steep climbs, that was one tough day because it was pretty hot also.
Impossible. Even at a very easy cadence also, this is tough. Today a gradient of 12 for that 1.5 kilometers. That was something which took me totally out of surprise. I was not expecting.
I've done the 200 BRM, so I know that I can ride long distance. Riding on flat roads, I can ride fast. But unless climbs are something which you miss, and doing like 1,800 meter, 1,200 meter climb, so that is something challenging. And if you do it, you feel like an achievement.
How was the climb?
Bad. Sunil was like, there is a climb there. I was like, what are you saying? I thought this is all downhill.
What a pain. This is your freaking idea of rest between two tough days. क्या कर रहे हैं? अरे छोड़ना. बोलने का है ना.
Whisper वाली से अम्मा बाबा भी था वो तो.
But is it really tough, the part?
It's fun.
Good. I mean, not fun. I mean, what I'm asking is, how does it compare with the Whisper Valley?
This is steeper. It's around, I think, 10-11%, I guess.
In retrospect, I underplayed these climbs during the route briefing, upsetting a few riders like Hari and Brunda. But I think it was all forgotten when we reached our resort. Up on the hills, it had a spectacular setting. Day 3. This was another 800 meters day, and I was a bit skeptical about how the riders were going to take it. This was also the longest day of the tour.
The last 2 days, I was just getting used to the hills and going up and down. Body also is tuned to uphills, so today it was very nice. I had good fun.
And I knew what to do today to consistently keep my heart rate in control, to complete the ride nicely without getting tired. This is how we enjoy cycling, right? Yesterday's ride was realization, and today's ride is more of implementation, you can say.
It was quite an intense route, and my pace has been such that I end up riding alone. It is more of a constant pace I maintain because I don't want to get tired. I know the uphill or distance is there still, so I try to do that.
I think Krish understands the taste of all the riders. So all the brakes were strategically positioned.
What is this?
So it didn't have something of a Krish discovery.
Piece of cake, he said, so I got one for him.
Absolutely.
Kerala cake.
Good stuff. It's not too sweet either.
It sounds like a pakoda cake. Where do you find these things, man?
Kerala halwa.
Loved it.
No, maybe because of caffeine.
Food will never taste as tasty. वो जब दम घुट रहा है ना, तो पूरा you're really hungry after the climb.
Krish, I saw eating only fruits on day 1, only vegetable curries on day 2, sweets day 3, day 4 water.
Daniel Ronaldo also says, drink water.
No Coke, only water.
You have to do like this, na? Ek water bottle or ek Coke.
The highlight of the day was possibly a viewpoint at the Kerala-Tamil Nadu border, offering a beautiful view of the mountains in Tamil Nadu. This was supposed to be a 15-minute stop, but I think the rider ended up spending 45 minutes just looking at the scenery and taking pictures.
In normal day-to-day life, we are doing multitasking. We are never in the moment. So you're never actually living in the moment unless you go on these kind of trips completely disconnected.
By the time we caught up with a bunch of riders, it was starting to get really hot.
Done? Ho gaya?
But we did catch them at the top of the only climb of the day, which was a 6-kilometer climb. The group did spend a lot of time chilling out there because it was only 10 kilometers to the lunch point from there.
The lunch spot also was very good. It gave a good relief. And by the time we reached there, we were really hungry because it was a very steep climbs and all that, no?
I'll have a noodles. Chicken noodles.
We caught up with all the riders at the lunch break. That day, we had the longest lunch break of the tour.
So that was a very good day, I would say. I mean, because it tests your complete body and then whether you are capable of doing it or not.
We were at a beautiful resort by the Thekkady forest, and the next day was a rest day that the riders were looking forward to. We had some time to do a little bit of touristy stuff like boat safari and spice shopping. We also made an attempt to go on a short trek in the forest, but had to abandon it midway because of the leeches.
Huge one. The one I had was so small.
Today, the plan was to ride to Vagamon. This wasn't a very long day, and we hoped to reach the resort by about lunchtime.
From Thekkady to Vagamon was really beautiful and a dreamy sector, I feel.
The first stop was at a factory outlet of one of the tea estates. The riders stopped and did some tea shopping. It was a beautiful day to ride. The weather was perfect, the scenery was spectacular, and midway into the ride, we took a detour into an estate road. That part was particularly beautiful, like it was possibly the best part of the day.
Being a doctor, I attend a lot of meetings worldwide and I travel a lot. But traveling inside a car or going in a train, it's not the same as riding a cycle and looking at the, you are open to nature and you feel it, and it gives you a totally different perspective. And that you can, you can get the feel only when you go out on a ride.
The meadows, the rolling meadows was fantastic, and the climate was amazing. I didn't want to come to the resort. I want to go back and forth. I just stay between the hills. It was just beautiful. It's only people can dream of, and I think it's just come to reality.
By the time we reached the resort, it started pouring again. A couple of riders at the back, they got caught up in the rain. That day, we had a special lunch planned. It was a traditional Kerala lunch served over banana leaves, and all the riders had a great time.
The fish curry is good.
From Vagamon, we were to ride to Kumarakom today. The first part of the ride is going to be downhill. The views are going to be fabulous, but the road surface isn't that great.
It helps when you have different kind of riders in the group, because if you want to slow down, you can slow down with a few people. You want to go faster, you can go faster with the folks in the front. I tried to pace up with the front runners, the pace setters, Chetan and Murli and all. Of course, I can't keep up with them, but I tried. So it was good. Every day we've had something new to sample, and that is all part of the experience, right? It's not just the riding, but it's the company you have, the food, the route, the stops. I think I've liked all of them.
From the high mountains of Munnar and Vagamon, we are now into the backwaters of Kumarakom. Our resort is approachable only by a boat. It is the last day of the ride today. By the way, before that, it's Sampath's birthday today. And we have a completely different kind of route planned. It was a village route that goes through the small alleys, follows the canals, and we might have to take a boat a couple of places as well.
It was exploring Kerala in true sense, and because all other 3 days we were on the main roads, it was more touristy. But what we did in the last day was completely unexplored part of Kerala. So a typical tourist, I'm sure, would not be exploring the way we explored Kerala in the last day. Birthday boy.
We were riding along the canals of backwater Kerala. At one of the canals, the support vehicle was waiting for the ferry, while the cyclists could use small boats. The riders took the small boat. And then we lost them. It took us quite some time for the ferry to actually take us to the other side.
It was actually pretty good. It was very hot, but that's the only thing you had to navigate through yesterday, the heat. But other than that, the route was phenomenal. It was just going through those small villages and the fields and all that. I think that was great, and because it was flat, it was fun to ride as well. You could draft, you could go in a single line and all of that, so that was fun. Yeah.
huge landscapes of lotus, water lilies, and paddy fields. And the toddy place also was a nice experience.
We are having kilo. What happened today was we got baked without oil.
They make a complete tour, it's a package, you know. So we get to taste the local cuisine, we get to see the best of the things of that area. Also, later on when we go, and even like if we are going to a city, probably we would have missed out. But Krish has done his homework so well that he makes sure that we get to see the best part of that city. And we go back with great memories.
Confidence that you just want to pick up your bike and ride the next day. You wouldn't have that if you didn't have people like Sampath on the team. So he would, religiously check the bikes both before and after the rides. Loop them when you need them, top of the air, even check the gears and everything else.
He encouraged us riding and technically and all. He took great care.
Kabir is a very good, he is very accommodative, and then the moment you reach there, he takes your cycle, puts it aside, and he is very good. I liked him a lot.
I visit many places, but the way I have traveled and discovered Kerala this time, I can tell you this is totally unprecedented. Even at my stage, and the person who has covered almost 4 continents.
Do another trip, we will say, oh, last year we did the Kerala trip, we did this. So just like we look at our previous, whether it's the Goa trip or Vietnam trip, we always look back at the photographs. So these are memories that you will cherish for the rest of your life.
First solo trip, frankly speaking. I was always with family or friends. I've never explored and I had too many questions, and in fact the last moment, should I go or shouldn't I go, and I had so many other things in mind. I was really scared to come, but I think it was a good decision that I came and I explored, and it's a very good experience.
Every day had a good surprise, a new surprise to it. It does come with a certain level of endurance. I didn't know I could do it, and I think now I'm ready for a lot more.